Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Today is a day to revitalize ourselves. And many of us have been sheltering at home for a long time now, and it's so easy to be with the valleys and with the mountains. There's so many valleys and so many mountains, and so much equanimity in between. And today let's focus on starting our week with revitalization and vitality. And how we do that is through our practices. And so we begin by the breath. Again, it's especially in the time of COVID-19 that affects the lungs. Our breath is of, well, I should say we want to be protecting it, getting to know it, being friendly with it, listening for the atmosphere we've been given through Mother Earth and her atmosphere. And so really, all we have to do is open our mouth. So let's try that. Have our mouth closed. Open our mouth and air comes in. Try that again. It comes in by itself. So what is all this grasping for breath? Allowing the breath to come in. Of course, there are, I'm sure, conditions where we might grasp. We ran too long, too far, maybe a marathon or going up a mountain. But really, if we come back to ourselves instead of being so far forward and away, we just open our mouth. Let the jaw go. Open our mouth and allow the air just to come in. And then we begin to listen. And that listening draws our attention. It draws our awareness. The minute we begin to listen, a vitalization is occurring. When we're blank, when we're sleepy, all areas that are good and fine, the vitalization goes down because we are not paying a warm-hearted, spacious attention. We don't have to strive and grasp. We open our mouth and the breath comes in. And to not grasp takes a great deal of our attention. To not shift or change ourselves, to not judge and, oh, it should be better, it should be bigger, it should be this or that, or letting go of all that with vitality, with our listening, our outer listening and our inner listening. Listening opens the door to awakeness, to aliveness, to becoming present with yourself in the moment. It doesn't take a lot, and it takes a lot. So using the breath as our gateway to revitalization, and then entering into the body, into the depth of the bones, listening through the feet, through the biggest organ of the body, the skin. Layers of skin and muscle and bone, our easy upright sitting. And through this layer of skin, we can begin, as we practice, to develop moving out a little bit into this, for most of us, an invisible sheath around us that is like to the acorn or to a seed. It's a nurturance body, this personal space around us. If we can enter and find the right balance while we're grounded, of not being so closed in, which sort of, you can imagine it or sense it like being starved of oxygen in the cells, or in your thoughts, or in your feelings. So how can we, through this time, we will be in, we will find contractions, of course, this is part of life, and when we awaken, when we listen, when we breathe, when we enter into this physical vessel, this beautiful vessel that holds our spirit and soul, our heart and mind, then we can come and live into larger spaces, not too large, just entering a little bit outside of ourselves so that everything comes a little bit more into balance, because we're living out here and in here. Finding that balance is vitalizing, it's energizing, it's life-giving. We are part of this great intelligence, this great cosmos. To think that we are not intrinsic and completely at one with is, I believe, a foolhardy thing that we all fall into from time to time. But entering through the body, through many of the practices we've done over the last, this is the 11th video, and when you're ready, maybe not by the time you're on this video, but when you're ready, you can begin, once you're grounded, to come and invite yourself to the edges of your skin, all around the edges, just little bits, coming out with your listening, with your sensing, with your awakened self, with your lively self, with your wonder. And maybe the backspace, that's often forgotten. And yet in days of old, in English, in the English language, there was always this talk about the backbone. And it meant something other than being straight. It meant moral compass. It meant your integrity as a human being. Your word was your word. So finding our backbone, but in this warm-hearted way, while we're living also in the space around, but only through this vessel of the ground. Not in a way that you'll fly away, that you'll get lost in your emotions or lost in your thoughts, which will happen, but that's not our intention. Our intention is to know the earth, to be of the earth, and to be of the stars, and to be in this embodied life, where we can actually be in balance with all of that. What a treasure that is. What a great gift and joy to know that we have ways in which we are really and truly in harmony. And nature tries to teach us this all the time. And she herself has hissy fits. Believe me, living on Cape Cod, I know many kinds of weather. And they're not all easy. And then she gives us all this, ways of being with ourselves and ways of being with the earth and in harmony. Especially in springtime, listen to the songs of the birds. See each blade of grass and its newness, its new life. The cherry blossom, the apple blossom, the miracles of the tiny little imprints of form and the larger overall coming of spring. This is the time for vitality. This is a time with the yang forces are pushing and forcing life up and out of the earth. And you can feel it. Sometimes it's exhausting. Sometimes it's inspiring. So today is our day to start the week with vitality. And our practices, we know, we come together to practice together. Enjoy the spring. Enjoy Mother Earth. Enjoy your own mothering of your own self.